Hi, I'm Paula Camperman. I'm with the Bennington County Solid Waste Alliance.
I'm Lisa Beyer. I'm the Executive Director of CAT TV.
And we're here to talk about recycling.
So we knew Paula was coming, and I have been having all sorts of recycling questions, and I'm assuming a lot of you did as well. So I have been keeping a bag of questions and thought that it would be fun to bring them in and have Paula give me the answers. And I was hoping that it would be helpful to you and hopefully helpful to me as well. So we're going to go through my bag of tricks here. So Paula, is this recyclable?
No. And the reason is it's made with multi-compositional materials. Even though it's plastic and cardboard feeling, it has a metal liner and a plastic lid, and it just won't break down in a recycling facility. So unfortunately, that has to be landfilled.
So that goes in the trash.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least in Vermont.
All right. And then these little, I get my berries in these, and I was wondering, do I need to take this liner out, and how careful do I have to be about the glue that's in there?
Yeah, the glue is usually kind of a rubberized base, so it can usually peel out with your fingers, and you want to take this out of the trash and put it in the trash. The rest of it could go in, if the labels come off easy, great. If not, they can usually work it out.
Okay. What about used coffee filters? Can I recycle those?
You can compost those, actually. They break down really well in compost bins.
Okay.
But,
even just the regular, they're not the brown ones, the white ones that you buy?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. All right, is this lid recyclable?
Well, that's a good question because it doesn't have any recycling markings on it. It has a great plug for steel recycling, not for plastic. So to be on the safe side, I would say no. I mean, It looks like it's one or two, but I wouldn't do it unless you know for sure.
Okay. So I'm glad to know that it wasn't just me that didn't know some of the answers to these things. It's complicated.
It is.
I know personally, I want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to do the right thing, and I'm so fascinated by the problems that we're having with recycling. And I think a lot of it is people don't know, and that's why we're really excited to have you here to be helping people understand better. So.
Well, and it's a never-changing landscape too, because new product formulation packaging comes out, and it can, upend what you think is going to be recyclable, may not, or it changes because it's made of a different component. Like if you look at the labeling on what you have here,
right? We'll
show a close-up here, but you see all these triangles with the circular recycling symbols,
right?
It is very confusing, but they're trying to basically tell you that yes, the plastic wrap itself is recyclable, but not in a recycling bin. It goes in a bin at the grocery store, and that's what they're trying to illustrate here.
Okay.
Whereas the paper tube is recyclable.
So it does say in there, it says store drop off.
That's right.
So that's where when you go into the grocery store and they have those bins where you can put your bags, this goes in there.
Right. So if I don't know if you can see it on the camera close up, this is exactly how the triangles work. So you have a breakdown of the item inside the toilet paper, which is the tube, is recyclable at your recycling bin, whereas this cellophane plastic film actually goes in your grocery store bin, not in your recycling bin.
Okay. All right. Is this recyclable?
Unfortunately not. No, these new pouches are great to extend the shelf life of the product it contains, but they don't recycle for the most part. You just have to landfill them.
In the trash. Yeah. All right. Everybody's getting a insight into my grocery shopping.
Looks delicious.
All right, so is this recyclable?
Yes, it is aluminum. Aluminum is very recyclable, and it's great. You can use even the sheets of aluminum foil that you cook with. If it's cleaned up and doesn't have food adhered to it, just rinse it off, roll it up into a ball, start your collection on the counter in the kitchen or near your recyclables, and as soon as it gets to be at least 2 inches in diameter, you can put it in the recycling bin.
So I was curious because this doesn't have any recycling marking, so that's what made me put it in my question bag because I just was curious. So anything that's aluminum is automatically.
Yeah.
Can you say more about that 2-inch rule?
Yes, in our recycling bin in Vermont, you want a minimum of 2 inches for anything that is recycled and a maximum of 2 feet.
Okay.
So taking your refrigerator box that you just got a shipment on and shoving it in your recycling bin is probably not a good idea.
So minimum of 2 inches and maximum of 2 feet.
Yeah, because that way it can get through the sorting facility efficiently, and if it's too small, it just ends up going through the screens. There's a whole sifting process that the recycling facility puts all of the recycling through so that it has a chance to get sorted properly. But it also is to reduce and eliminate the contamination that comes through. Contamination being things that don't belong.
Okay. All right. So I think that I know the answer to this.
Yeah.
So this goes in at the grocery store where you return the single-use bags.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
All your produce wraps like that, all your bags, anything that goes around case wrap of toilet paper, paper towels, bottles, all that is recyclable
Okay.
at the grocery store.
All right. So I think you may have just answered this, but I'm going to ask it because I know that everybody is wondering, why are straws not recyclable?
Because they just get jammed up in the machinery. Some of them aren't made of the material that's recyclable, and it
So
goes
it's
to that
the
2-inch
2
too. Yeah, it's 2 inches. It just gets caught up in it. It doesn't recycle. So
Interesting.
Yeah, you should see it.
I'm sure you probably don't know the answer to this, but my mind is going to, why don't they improve the facilities to be able to accept things that are less than 2 inches?
That's a very good question. It is quite a conundrum because there are just so many things that people would try to make. You know, when we think of zero sort, we think zero think, and we have to rethink that. You can't do
Yeah.
that. And that's the same thing. In addition, we just need to get off of plastic straws.
Right,
Period.
right. Okay, what else do I have in my bag of tricks here? All right, this is a cap to a shampoo bottle.
Yeah.
And the bottle itself was recyclable, and I
Right.
noticed that there was no markings on the cap. So
Toss it in the trash.
toss it.
Yeah.
Because it has no markings and because it's too small?
Both. Yeah. On that one. Yeah. Both.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, and
Yeah.
the black,
Yeah, we're
Plastic.
just black plastic just doesn't recycle very well. It is a dark resin, and it doesn't. They just can't recycle it like you can
So-
other colors.
so does any black container cannot be recycled?
Yeah.
Even though it may have the marking on it?
Yeah,
And okay,
in Vermont, yeah,
in Vermont?
yeah,
Okay, all right, these things.
yeah. There's a lot of plastic, but there's also a spring coil in here, and they just can't. They don't break this apart. It's just not recyclable.
All right,
It's
so
unfortunate.
when we're recycling the container, we have to make sure that we're checking the caps and not just put everything right in the recycle bin.
Yeah, sticking with bottoms is just a good idea.
Okay.
you know?
So what happens if I take the soap bottle and I put this whole thing in there? What happens in the process?
Well, sometimes if the bottle is forced down in a compressed fashion, this will pop off, and then it just ends up in the debris bins down below when they're sifting through. But yeah, they want clean containers that are just containers. If you add a lot of these other things, it makes it less valuable.
I guess that's my question is, how much of what we're doing, if I'm not recycling properly, how much of that is causing a problem down the road?
Well, a fair amount, because what happens when the material gets to the recycling facility, it's literally dumped on a tipping floor.
Okay.
The floor is just this big open area in a huge facility indoors where then a little bobcat type bulldozer pushes it up a conveyor belt, gets on the conveyor belt where maybe a half a dozen or a dozen people are sitting there sorting it very rapidly for contamination.
Okay.
So the first thing they look for is this kind of stuff, this kind of stuff. They can't go in the sorting.
So they're just
Yeah, so they're trying to do that, or real hazardous things like pieces of metal and tanglers, which are like rope and hoses and things that don't
Okay.
belong in there. And then from there, it gets blown off or magnetized or moved down to the next phase. So all these different areas are used to actually sort through it. And then from there, once it gets to a big haul, they actually bind it and put it on a pallet. They make a huge bundle out of it as a commodity to go sell on the open market.
okay.
So the idea is to make it as clean and reusable as possible. So you don't want all these stray caps and things that contaminate it, or things that get spilled. So you want the recyclables to be clean. You know, your yogurt cup shouldn't have half your yogurt still in it.
Right, right.
Peanut butter jars and covered
Yeah,
with peanut
has
butter
to be
inside. Yeah, it
clean.
should be clean. You know, you don't want to use 85 gallons to get that peanut butter jar clean.
Right.
Of water, 85 gallons of water to do it.
Right.
Be judicious, but
Right.
you want it to make it.
Well, I think that there's a lot of people out there like me who think that they're doing a good job at recycling, and I think you told me this term for the first time, wish cycling. I'm putting it in there hoping that I'm doing the right thing for the environment,
Yeah.
but I might actually be causing more harm than good. And I think it's a big problem. So we're really excited that you're here to help us stay educated and get the word out to the community.
Yes, wish cycling is a big part of contamination in the recycling industry because it is made of just a multitude of things that have no business in there, like hoses, Christmas tree lights, ropes, tie-down strapping, VHS tapes, things, clothing, plastic bags, all this stuff just ends up in there. Or people throw their frying pans in there. Well, it's metal, it's recyclable, right? Well, it doesn't work that way because there's a very limited number of items, and it's usually consumable packaging of what you think of as recyclable, and our paper goods. So, you know, clean, uncoated things are what really recycle well.
Well, we're looking forward to learning more from you as this series continues, and my guess is that I will be back with another bag of tricks.
Great, love to see them.
So, great. Thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure.
All
Thank
right.
you.